I'm Edward Warfield, the publisher of Citybiz, and I'm honored today to interview Jen Swets, who is a partner at DWC. Welcome, Jen.
Thanks so much, Edwin. Glad to be here today.
Can you provide an introduction to DWC?
Happy to, for sure. So DWC has been around for over 20 years, and we play in the consultative space in the retirement plan world. So we have consultants all over the country. We were remote before it was cool. There is no brick and mortar for DWC. So it was founded in Minneapolis over 20 years ago. And as we have grown, we've grown across the country and had consultants who've moved from state to state and even internationally and been able to stay with us as a firm. So that's been a very exciting part of who we are and allowed us to really focus on making sure that we retain and recruit the best talent that meets our culture and meets the expectations that our clients have. So we started as a true consulting firm, helping other TPAs and other folks in the retirement plan industry, and eventually grew into who we are today, servicing well over 2,000 retirement plans with a focus on, continued support, working closely with our professional partners, our external contacts, lots of communication with plan sponsors, no 800 numbers. We focus on direct contact with our clients. And we really pride ourselves on watching what the trends are, not necessarily jumping on them, but knowing what they are so we can educate our plan sponsors. We like to be first to press wherever we can when there's changes in legislation and regulation. And, we're just a group of people who absolutely love this very niche space that we play in.
And so who are some of the key members of the team?
Sure. So with DWC, we have 5 partners. They're all over the country. We've got 2 in Minnesota, 1 in New Hampshire, close to Boston. We've got 1 in Utah, and then I sit here in Norfolk, Virginia. And so we've got someone almost local wherever you go. And the partners, we all have very specific roles, whether it's operations, compliance, consulting, or sales. And we're not bad to get to know. We're passionate about the business. We're passionate about our clients. But I think where it's really key to know is our relationship managers and then our consultants that are assigned to clients. The relationship managers we have work very closely with our key financial advisor partners. They know our clients inside and out. And those consultants and relationship managers are the ones that day in and day out are talking to our plan sponsors, providing the service, escalating when it makes sense to have a partner involved or maybe something more complex that really, needs more minds working on it together. But really a key to the strength of our team and who we are those relationship managers and the consultants who provide all of that hands-on service.
So earlier this year, the House of Representatives passed Secure 2.0. Can you tell us what that was and some of the key provisions of it?
Absolutely. So it is exciting to see. And I will say that, the idea behind Secure 2.0, much like Secure 1.0, is about expanding coverage, allowing more people to be covered by retirement plans, regardless of how many hours they work or how long they've been at a company. Secure 2.0 picks up that ball and continues to run with it. And because of the expanding coverage, it really does have bipartisan support. Now, we all know what DC is like, and bipartisan doesn't mean it'll happen or that it'll happen quickly. But it did allow for things like increased catch-up contributions. So typically someone is able to put in, let's say for next year, $20,500 in 401k, for 2020 rather. And then if they're age 50 or older, they can do $6,500 additional. Well, with the idea behind Secure 2.0 is that would ramp up to $10,000. So allowing for additional savings opportunities as folks become closer to retirement age. There are also some things back to the idea of expanding coverage that require automatic enrollment, where even participants who get the opportunity to participate in a plan but maybe take that paperwork and throw it in the back seat with good intentions and never sign up for the retirement plan, those folks who don't take action would be automatically enrolled in the plan. Still have the ability to opt out, but in the absence of any action, they are enrolled in the plan to get rolling. So that would be something that may become a requirement for all new plans going forward. There are increased tax credits for startup plans, increased credits for employers who are making contributions to the plan. There's even a provision in there where if you've had a plan for a while and you do a re-enrollment session, with the idea that that's going to, a new sweep is going to bring in some new blood and some new participation, that could also serve for a tax credit. So lots of things to incentivize and engage employers. There are also some features that have been kicked around for quite some time now, and you've seen it and heard it in other bits of legislation. But the idea of, for maybe some of the employees who are making student loan payments, and so they're not able to contribute to their 401k plan right now, they would be able to receive an employer match on the amount that they are repaying on their student loan. So helping them build their retirement savings, even if they're not able to put their own money in at the current time. So it's very interesting to see some of the things that are out there. There's even a provision that would allow employers who currently have a simple plan, which isn't quite as robust as a 401k profit sharing plan. And typically, if you want to make that move, you can only do it at the start of a calendar year. Well, there is a provision out there that would allow that switch mid-year, so that if an employer is working with an advisor or their CPA or someone who gives that advice, that, hey, this would be a much more robust, comprehensive plan, they could make that change mid-year. So lots going on there. It'll be interesting to see what stays. There's a lot of debate back and forth about the tax credits, and the offset of that is, should catch-up contributions all be Roth instead of pre-tax? But time will tell. We're definitely keeping tabs on that, participating in industry conversations to see where this ends up going.
Well, it's refreshing to see something with bipartisan support.
It is a rarity these days, isn't it?
It's rare. So who would have thought 401k?
Again, no promise anything actually happens, because, any little thing can derail it, but we're hopeful.
So can you provide an overview of the 2022 contribution and testing limits? So give us an overview of where they are.
Sure. So for 2022, 401k, whether it's pre-tax or Roth or a combo of both, a participant can do up to $20,500. And if they are over age 50, so if they turn 50 this year or are already 50, they can do an additional $6,500 in 401k. In terms of the compensation we can use and we can count for contribution calculations and testing, that is capped at $305,000 for 2022 contributions. And when we look at the big pie, how much in total can someone get into a retirement plan? If we're talking 401k profit sharing plan, that maximum is $61,000. Certainly, if they're over age 50, we can tack on that $6,500. And if it's someone who is participating in a defined benefit, your old-fashioned pension plans that certainly have had quite the revival, the maximum there is $245,000. And I'll say that we don't know what 2023 is going to look like yet, but talking to industry insiders, if you will, and the folks who are having conversations up at the Capitol, the thought is that the 2023 limits will actually be going up quite a bit. Some folks have estimated maybe 15%. So we should know around Halloween, but the signs are good that those contribution limits and compensation limits are going up.
So how do you partner with investment advisors, and what role do they play with you?
Sure. So investment advisors are a hugely important part of what we do, not only from a sales perspective, but also from a servicing of retirement plan clients perspective. So we don't provide any investment advice here at DWC. We solely rely on the true professionals who are in that field. And so we like to think that each part of the team who works together to service a client is really bringing their strengths to put together the strongest possible team to service the client. So when it comes to the very beginning of a relationship, the way we partner with financial advisors, let's say they have a prospect they'd love to get in front of, and they want to come in with more than just an investment strategy or something like that, we can look at plan design with them and help figure out how maybe an employer can improve the benefit, get more people to participate, stretch their employer dollars, make sure those dollars are going to key individuals or a rewarding savings, whatever might be either a pain point or a desire for that particular plan sponsor. And so we'll partner in that way with the financial advisor. So whether we go in as a team or they want to go in and be the face of the relationship, they're going in armed with a few different components that can really improve and enhance their odds of winning that retirement plan. And if we do win that plan together, then we continue to service as a team, participating on quarterly calls together so that when we're looking at whether a plan is truly working, what works initially may change as demographics change or ownership changes. And so we work together to make sure not only the investments continue to make sense and the advisors watching that, but that design does as well. And so we have some advisors who want a little bit of a different setup, but for those who want it, and we find that most of those we partner with do, we include them on our delivery of compliance work, our discussions on design, our document reviews, so that we are really truly operating as a team in front of that client.
So I saw that you were recently on a panel discussion with respect to crypto. So can you tell us what role does crypto play in the 401k plans?
So right now, a complicated one. I will say that, as I noted, we don't do the investment work here. We do work closely with, our financial advisor friends. But if I'm a plan fiduciary, and I am for the DWC 401k plan, I'm not making crypto available to my plan participants at this point in time. The Department of Labor came out and made comments about whether, they deemed it to be an appropriate, a prudent investment in plans at this time. And I know that you can read articles from one extreme or the other about whether, that was an overstep on the DOL's part. But my thought is there's enough risk as a plan fiduciary, and plan participants, maybe not your owners. You do end up with some individuals who are sophisticated investors, but for most of your rank and file employees, crypto is a buzzword that they probably don't have an understanding of. And so when we're talking about a retirement plan with a long-term savings goal, and we've gotten, the word of warning from the Department of Labor, I think at this point it's a wait and see what other kind of guidance we can get. Maybe the DOL issues some guidance that allows you to do it with certain parameters. I will say that working with clients, we've had plan sponsors who've invested in land or real estate or a horse or paintings or gemstones. So this is, maybe the next thing that has interest. And if you're an owner-only plan and you're not covered by ERISA, maybe you don't have that risk and you're comfortable diving in. I think that if you are a plan fiduciary for an ERISA-covered plan, it's maybe a little bit more wait and see in terms of risk tolerance and things like that go.
So DWC recently published an ebook, How to Select Retirement Plan Service Providers. What are the key takeaways from the ebook?
Sure. So, with that, plan sponsors can get very overwhelmed, especially if you're new to the role or you're establishing a new plan. And when you think about all the different people that can be involved, you've got your record keeper, you've got your financial advisor, you've got folks like us, an attorney, a CPA, your payroll company. It can be a lot of players and very overwhelming, especially if you're coming to the table recognizing the importance of a benefit and just wanting to do something positive for your employees, all of a sudden you're inundated with all of this information and trying to make sense of it. So with the ebook, we did outline all the different people that might be involved. We talk about the different structures in the retirement plan world, the unbundled version, which is the space I play in, where you've got a separate consultant and advisor and record keeper, versus the bundled, where it's all housed in one entity, and sort of the pros and cons there. We also talk a little bit about the RFP process and the kinds of questions to ask the different parties, the kinds of questions to ask an advisor versus a consultant versus a record keeper. And, our hope with that is really that a process that can be daunting is a little bit easier to understand. We talk about things like fees and things that we all know on the surface. But I think as you look at fiduciary duties, people can be worried about, should it be a race to the bottom? And we kind of reiterate the idea of, make sure there's value. If it's a reasonable fee for what you're getting and what you're getting is what you need, then you can absolutely, you can stand by that. It doesn't have to be the lowest cost, whether that's advisory fees or ours or a record keeper. And, a little bit about how to read the fees. Sometimes it's very straightforward. It's pay to play and here's how much. And sometimes it's not quite face value. There's hidden fees or surprises along the way. So just trying to map out that for our plan sponsors or our would-be plan sponsors. And then, with the ebook, we have a corresponding checklist that folks could use and kind of work through their different parties that they're interviewing, so that at the end of the day, individuals, whether it's a committee or a single trustee, can feel confident about the decision that they're making that affects so many others along the way.
So, Jen, is there any part of your personal story or the DWC story that you'd like to share with us that you haven't shared with us?
I will say, and I think it's true for me and it's true for DWC too. I mentioned in the beginning about our passion for what we do. And I can tell you that you could probably talk to, hundreds of people who do exactly what I do. And I would guess that none of them are going to tell you that they went to school to be a TPA or to be a retirement plan consultant. It's just, it's not high on the list at career fairs. But what I can say for myself is that diving into it, it's such a great opportunity to use the analytical side, to run the numbers, crunch the numbers, and have that logic and reason. And then to get to pair it with actual interaction with people where you can engage and help explain. And the blend of those two things is just, I didn't know that it's what I wanted, but it is. And what I can say about the people that I'm lucky to partner with at DWC is that same passion, maybe sometimes a little academic, maybe sometimes a little geeky as it may be when we get excited about a rev prop from the IRS, is that it really provides a place for us to be able to funnel that energy and passion into actually serving plan sponsors and from that, the retirement plan participants. So love what we do over there, and can definitely say that for my coworkers too.
Well, Jen, I want to thank you for your time and for sharing the DWC story and Jen Swets story. I enjoyed this opportunity to speak with you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it being here.